Derek here, Real Investing. Today we're going to talk about an ETF. It's cryptocurrency slash blockchain related. I've mentioned a couple times. It's called BLOX. BLOX pays about 36% in terms of its yield, which is about 3% a month, which to me is absolutely fantastic. I also got a lot of responses and comments on YouTube here and on other platforms, and wanted to address a couple of them because this isn't fake. This is super real. Not only is it super real, it's standard accounting, what we're talking about here, cash flowing our expenses. And so every single company that you own, if you own a stock or an ETF, if you own part of the S&P 500, those companies are doing just this with their expenses to generate income. You'll find it on any income statement if you want to go look at all their quarterly statements. And this leads me to why I like income investing in some of the things that we've been talking about, like BLOX today, BLOX, or MAGY from last week, MAGY. They pay weekly, which I think is fantastic, right? It dollar cost averages into the fund if you reinvest. It also gives you a paycheck every single week. I get paid on Monday every single week, and I have some other funds that pay me on Wednesday and Thursday. I get multiple checks every week. And once that started happening for me, it kind of gets me excited, right? Oh, I'm going to wake up. I know Monday night money's going to hit my account. I know Wednesday night money's going to hit my account. And it gives you that little bit of hit of excitement that maybe you used to get from shopping on Amazon late at night. And so once you start investing for income and these distributions start hitting your account, it also helps you change your behavior because that excitement now hits you for money coming in instead of that moment of excitement hitting you when money goes out. And so to address some of the comments that I got, right, it looked like people needed some help understanding what was going on. One of the comments was anything that pays less than quarterly, is a scam, is a gimmick. And that just shows the lack of understanding of what cash flow is. There are companies that pay once a year, there are companies that pay twice a year, and there are companies that pay quarterly. Realty Income is a real estate investment trust. Its ticker symbol is O. It coined the phrase, the monthly dividend company, because that was a novelty back in the day. And so what's the difference between quarterly, monthly, and weekly, and why does it exist? These companies have to file statements every quarter with the SEC, and it just makes sense to also look at their cash flow, announce their dividend, and pay it out, generally speaking, to people who are looking for income. Realty Income, being a company that owns real estate and collects rent, they get their rent checks monthly. And so they decided that instead of holding on to that money and making interest on it and paying out quarterly, they said if money comes in at the beginning of the month, we can pay it out at the end, or in this case, the middle of the following month. And so instead of them cash flowing that money before they pay out their expenses to their shareholders in the form of dividends, they said people invest with us to make income. We will get more support, people will like our stock better, our shareholders will find more value if we pay them more often so that they can compound their pennies monthly instead of quarterly. And that's a big advantage. One of the other comments I got was that somebody did not think that the world had changed. So how does a weekly payer exist? These companies are selling these covered call ETFs that we talk about, right? So they're saying, hey, look at all this future potential growth. Let's cash in on some of it right now, right? Let's take profits. And they use computer programs to do this, and so they can do these transactions really, really fast. And they know, on a Wednesday that what they made for the week. They know on Friday they can announce the dividend, and they can cut you a check on Monday morning. And so again, instead of them keeping that money, investing it to make pennies on it, they say the reason people show up to buy these is for income. Let's give them that money more often so that they can make pennies on it. And it's fantastic to me. So I can have my MAGY ETF, my BLOX ETF compound weekly instead of quarterly. And over a long period of time, I'm going to make and generate a lot more income because of that compounding. And so there's a very legitimate reason why companies pay weekly or monthly instead of quarterly, and it has to do with cash flowing. They are declining to cash flow their expenses because their investors want to cash flow their expenses themselves. And so they're giving us that opportunity to make that extra money by paying us more often. And so I want to take the time to explain that. And so BLOX, what's so exciting about BLOX? It's cryptocurrency, it's blockchain. So if you believe in this, right now it's on sale. I think we're down, somewhere between 30-40% from the high. And so it's a good opportunity going forward to buy this if you're interested in it. Disclaimer, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence. And so to understand what BLOX is, I'm going to reference two YouTube channels. Love you to go check them out. I watch them all the time. One is Armchair Income. And he does a great review of this, so you can take a look at it and understand exactly what it holds and why it yields what yields. And the other one is Income Architect. He actually interviews the fund manager. And one of the key things that I got out of that interview is BLOX has price appreciation, right, or their protecting of their NAV as a key fundamental element. It's not secondary like a yield max fund, it's first. And then they pay out a distribution. It happens to be 36%. Oh, that's really high. It's actually quite low for a lot of these crypto funds. What it is more sustainable. And so you can, it's very volatile, right? So you get these big ups and downs and price swings. And so, be aware of that. But what that means is that they can collect higher premiums when they sell the future rights to these shares because of that volatility. People want more assurances. And that's how we cash in on the income. And this fund also allows us to cash in on the ups and downs. And again, if the market and you think it's going to go up and to the right long term, that's actually an excellent combination. And so what does BLOX do for us in this example? If we take a look at that credit card example, for those of you that might be new, we've been talking about a 0% credit card, Citi Diamond Preferred Plus for 21 months. And what can you do with that cash flowing of your normal monthly expenses to generate income by buying assets? Now, in our example, over a 5-year period of just cash flowing about $13,000 over whatever months it takes you to hit that cap, even if you have to use a few cards. 5 years from now, it'll be making over $20,000 at its current price, at its current income by reinvesting those distributions, which to me is absolutely incredible. Starting with $13,000 to be able to make something like $20,000 in 5 years, and that's the power of some of these more volatile assets, and why people diversify, because it's hard to say no to that, but also it's hard to watch it go up and down, and so you can start combining these things into a diversified portfolio. BLOX to me is a not newer position, but it's something that I am building out because of that future income. And the way that I look at this is, for a relatively small piece of my portfolio, future me has the really good opportunity to look back and say thank you for making some of those short-term sacrifices for the rest of our lives. And I've been doing this for 4 years, this specific type of investing for income, and it's really started to pay off. Pretty big. It takes a few years to get your snowball rolling. Check out Dividend Bull. He'll talk about the dividend snowball. But once it gets rolling, it's fantastic. We're a single family income household. I have 7 kids. And the 12 Days of Christmas, actually, I was playing it this morning. And I always sing 5 months of bills. And that's not the case anymore, right? I used to use 0% credit cards to pay, Christmas off over the year. I used Amazon's Pay in 6, Pay in 12, Pay in 18, and, stretched out my expenses. Well, now over the last 4 years, not only did I stretch out those expenses, but then I was able to buy those assets. And now I don't have to do that anymore. I buy Christmas, I pay it as it comes in, it helps my credit score, and it just keeps this better system of running your personal finances going. And that's one of the things that I would like to use BLOX for. And so I think as you take a look at these funds and you look at it, you really do have to remember, a book I'm reading, Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. You need to compare yourself to past you, and not worry about what somebody else has or what works for somebody else, but really what's going to work for you. Hey, Darcy. This is my dog, Darcy. I guess my kids let him out. But I think I was just about ready to wrap up anyways. And so today we were taking a look at blocks, cryptocurrency, blockchain, with a strong ability to capture the upside of crypto if you believe in it. And really, to me, the ability to, in 5 years, be able to generate more than $20,000 a year worth of income, starting with that $13,000 that we cash flowed our expenses with. I think I also just wanted to cover the fact that this is real. There's a reason things pay monthly and quarterly, and it's and weekly, excuse me, and it is because they're allowing you to cash flow these things, to compound your gains quicker, which is something they used to reserve the right for themselves to do. And it is because people like me who want the income and the ability to compound it quicker, so that the future self that I am, can look back and say, wow, I'm so glad that I'm a dual income household. Now I am able to pay for my homestead. I am able to pay for my wife's plants and, the cow that we got, and this beautiful boy here, my border collie who helps me with the sheep. So anyways, thank you for watching. Hopefully you're finding some value in your own journey. Please like and subscribe. It really does mean a lot to me as we continue this understanding of how we can generate income using what we already have. So thank you again.